And welcome back, everyone, to the Steve Finnegan Show. Coming to you from beautiful Benton, Arkansas, here at the Crane Big Lot. But as you know, Thursdays are Opportunity Arkansas Thursdays, and I welcome to the show my good friend, Jay Robertson from Opportunity Arkansas. How you doing, Jay?
Hey, Steve, I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me. It's a beautiful day to be outside today.
Yeah, it is. Of course, if you're close by, I'd invite you to come on down and hang out with us so people can meet you too. Unless you are out on business.
Well, I'm certainly on business. We always stay busy here at Opportunity Arkansas. But it's really great to see, private charity stepping up here to fill the role. That's what Arkansas is really about. And that's who should really be meeting these needs. I think the shutdown shows the danger of relying on government for all these things, is that it creates uncertainty, but then it also creates these cycles of dependency. And, the food banks are doing a good job, and that's where churches and private charity have really stepped up. And it makes you really proud to be in Arkansas to show that when people are hurting, we step up to fill the need. Absolutely.
And I have a pretty good size moving truck here from our friends over at Elite Movers that is filling up. And I would imagine by tomorrow afternoon at this time, it's going to be darn close to full. And I've been getting to meet some of the listeners here, and it's just amazing. Having a lot of fun. And then I've got Richard Friend and Justin Minton hanging out with me. So they're taking care of folks as they pull in. Now, folks, we also have a contest going on with this. So please feel free to after you get done with your food donation, I've got the entry forms here on the table with me for you to enter into the contest from our wonderful sponsors that have been donating prizes to do this. Now, Jay, to get back right now, here we are 4 months into the state's fiscal year. Now, folks, most of us operate on the January 1st through December 31st fiscal year. The federal government operates on an October 1st through September 30th fiscal year, but states operate on a July 1st through June 30th fiscal year. So that's how we're into that. And I'll let you tell the listeners how much in revenue the state of Arkansas has collected already.
Yeah, and I appreciate you explaining that, Steve, because there's a lot of numbers that get thrown out when we get these revenue reports. We like to bring them to your listeners every month. Every month we get an update on where the state's at. And as you explained, the fiscal year, runs from July to June. And it can be a little hard to follow because there's so many numbers involved. The big picture here is that state revenue is up, it's continuing to go up, and we're going to have another surplus. But just to zoom out and explain it a bit for folks who might not understand, so at the end of each fiscal year, the state economists get together and they make a projection on how much tax revenue we can expect to collect the next year. And then every month they provide reports on how much revenue is actually collected. And these reports have a lot of data on what's coming from income tax versus sales tax. But the point is to give us a picture of how closely we're tracking that estimate from the beginning of the year. And so when the state legislature goes into session to make a budget, they use these revenue numbers to set the budget for the state. So yes, for the last few years, even after cutting income taxes, we've continued to have a surplus. And what these latest numbers show us is that we're on track for yet another surplus. So when the fiscal year started, the state estimated $185 million surplus. The latest numbers we've got from October, 4 months in, show that we are exceeding even that estimate by about 4%. We've collected about $90 million more in tax dollars. And so when you take this all together, what it means is we're on track for another surplus of maybe close to $300 million, which was what we had last year. And, the takeaway here should be the state is collecting more revenue, more than was budgeted for, and we absolutely have the money to give this back to taxpayers in the form of income tax cuts. The time to do it's now. And so that's the big takeaway from the latest report from Opportunity Arkansas's perspective.
Yes, so Right now, ladies and gentlemen, that number is, as of this report, $2.26 billion in tax revenue since July 1st, and revenue is up over $41 million compared to this time last year. So the state is definitely taking in more projected, and our economy, thank God, is healthy in the state of Arkansas. So
that's right. And you know, and just to jump in there, you know, you'll see some spin from certain media outlets that they don't like tax cuts, and they'll say, well, this is going to decimate state revenue, or they'll pick out a certain number to say, well, from September to September, this particular sales tax collection went down 0.3%. And that's intentional because they want to obscure the big picture, which is that we are cutting taxes and revenue is going up, and it's time to continue cutting taxes. This is not a zero-sum game. As you mentioned, the economy is strong. Jim Hudson, Secretary of DF&A, made a statement saying that state revenue is stable, it's growing, and we see job growth growing, and that's because of the tax cuts, because of good fiscal policy. And to us, all this points to it's time to put us on a clear path to fully eliminating the income tax. Our Pay As We Grow plan puts us on a path to phase it out so that when we have these revenue increases, we think taxpayers should see a pay raise. When the state's collecting more money, that money should go back to taxpayers. And we want to do that by reducing the income tax because it puts it right back into the pockets of people who are working.
Yes, and then, you know, the velocity of money for every dollar in tax cuts, and this is true, ladies and gentlemen, for anything, the velocity of money is usually it goes through the economy at least 7 times. So let's say, for example, I'll use myself. Cumulus Media pays me twice a month, and I get paid by Cumulus, and I decide, well, you know, I'm going to go out to Hideaway Pizza because there's a Hideaway right next to me where I'm at now, and then my friends up there at the Hideaway in North Little Rock where I go once in a while. And so you give the waitress a tip, and then that money goes through the economy. They get a paycheck. The cook gets a paycheck. That money goes through the economy again. They order more cheese and dough and sauce and condiments and everything. And that's how this economy works, ladies and gentlemen. And I wish the federal government could understand that. I guess that was a simplistic way of putting it. But
no, that's exactly right, because it's not a zero-sum game. Like you said, when we cut taxes, that money doesn't evaporate. It goes back into people's paychecks. They spend it, they invest it, and that in turn creates more revenue for businesses, and it allows businesses to grow. We have more jobs, and the data bear this out, that as long as we've cut income taxes, revenues continue to grow. And so that's the reason that we should stay on this path to continue working towards eliminating the income tax and giving people who are working a pay raise in Arkansas.
Yes. Now, I have to be honest with you, Jay. I saved this just for you. So now I know your brain is like, uh-oh, what is he going to do? and it's not bad. But I want you to help me get this message out, basically, and, of course, all the listeners. Folks, people are already pulling their children out of schools in New York City. Florida and Texas realtors are already hearing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know what a wonderful group the Stevens Incorporated is as part of the Arkansas family of businesses here in Central Arkansas. Warren Stevens has proven you can be very successful in finance here in Central Arkansas. I think Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and the Arkansas Economic Development Commission should open an office in New York and tell all those stock brokerage firms, come on down here, folks. The cost of living's a lot less. We have plenty of power available for your business, and Arkansans that are very willing and hardworking people.
That's right. I mean, you know, it's a big contrast. You know, the states like Arkansas are moving to make it a low tax state, and it's really important because we are competing with jobs for all these other states, and states around us are moving quickly, and so it's time for Arkansas to keep moving so that we can stay a place where people want to grow a business and start a business and create jobs. And getting rid of our income tax is something that Governor Sanders has talked about. The legislature's made progress on it, and it's one of the best ways to make sure that this continues to be a place where we can be competitive.
Yes, and I think, like I said, there's businesses, and Jay, this is the difference. You got this Marxist man dummy, as I call him, that's talking about raising all these taxes on the billionaires and millionaires. Well, they're leaving in droves. They may not sell their apartments, but they're going to transfer their residency to a different state where they're not going to pay outrageous income taxes. And I would say New York is probably going to lose because there's actually city income tax. If you work in New York City, you get city income tax, state income tax, federal income tax. And if you're a person that is in Connecticut or New Jersey and commutes into New York City to work, you pay New Jersey and Connecticut income taxes. That's how insane it is up there. So these people are going to be looking to move businesses and everything else. And New York is probably going to lose $3 or $4 billion as people just escape this madness that they've brought upon themselves.
Yeah, and thank goodness we have conservative leadership here. I mean, we know there's no such thing as a free lunch. Nothing's free. And when government's doing it, it's coming at the cost of taxpayers. And so, you know, to put that back in perspective here, like it's easy to say, well, that's crazy stuff that's happening in New York, but we've got to be wary about that here too. I mean, we have people calling for government to do free transportation, free child care, free health care, free housing. Well, none of that's free. The state can't print money. And so when we have a surplus, the right decision is not to create a new government program so that we can help people, because we know that generally doesn't work. Government's not good at these things. The best thing that we can do to help people who are working, young families, is to not just spend that money on giving out more free stuff, but giving it back to the people who earned it.
Yes. Well, Jay, I appreciate, as always, you coming on and updating the audience. And anything you want to close out with?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, we like to share this so people can stay up to date on what's happening here at the state capitol. You can learn more about our plan to phase out the state income tax at our website, opportunityarkansas.org. Find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, at Opportunity Arkansas. And I think we're seeing a groundswell of support for this. It's more popular than ever, and taxpayers are ready for it. So we're excited to work alongside them.
And before I let you go, I even though I haven't given out the number yet, the American Leak Detection call-in and text-in line, which, of course, is 501-403-5276. The magic of technology. I have my laptop in front of me, and I'm logged into the station's text-in line, so I've been texting and answering people that have texted in. And everyone that's texting in so far is saying we're overtaxed. Why don't you suggest that they cut them? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, both Jay and I are firmly ensconced in that camp of cutting the taxes.
Absolutely. Opportunity Arkansas is an advocate for taxpayers. We do that at the Capitol, and we help spread the message so that we can have the truth about where the state's at and help build on this momentum so that we can put the money back in the pockets of the people who earned it.
Okay. All right, my friend, you have a blessed and rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Thank you, Steve. Talk to you then.